Have you ever gone entire days without stepping outside? Not because you're lazy, not because you don't want to, but because the outside just doesn't make sense anymore. You open your front door, and it feels like stepping onto another planet. The sounds are too loud. The people move too fast. The sky is too big, too open, too much. So you close the door again. I didn't always live like this, but somewhere between lockdowns, late-night scrolling, and a creeping sense of disconnection, the world outside started feeling optional, then alien, then hostile. I'd order groceries to my doorstep, cancel plans with an excuse I didn't even believe, and tell myself, it's fine. Everyone's online anyway. But it wasn't fine, because the longer I stayed in, the more I started believing something was wrong with me. That maybe I'd missed the update, that everyone else had the firmware to function, and I just didn't. Let's start with a hard truth. You are not defective. The world just wasn't built for real human beings. Enter the evolutionary mismatch theory. Our brains evolved in tight-knit tribes, surrounded by trees, firelight, and maybe 10 people we trusted with our lives. Now we wake up to dopamine slot machines, perform in front of hundreds on social media, and make small talk under fluorescent lights with coworkers we barely know. This isn't normal. It's an evolutionary mismatch. You were built for a tribe, not a timeline. The reason your house feels safer is because, in a way, it's the last place that still obeys the rules your brain understands. Inside, everything's predictable. The couch doesn't judge you. Your phone won't betray you with a disapproving glance. Outside, it's performance. The constant question, am I doing it right? And the kicker is, that anxiety is not your weakness. It's your brain doing its job. Back then, getting kicked out of the tribe meant death. So your mind developed a hyper-attuned radar for rejection. It scans every smile, every silence, looking for danger. But here's the twist no one talks about. Nobody's really watching. Cornell researchers call it the spotlight effect. People notice you half as much as you think. That weird thing you said? That awkward stumble? They forgot before you even walked away. Most people are too caught up in their own internal worlds, their own battles, their own performances to truly dwell on yours. They're the audience for their own show, not yours. I tested this once. A full week of intentional weirdness. Wore a stained shirt to the coffee shop. Mismatched socks outside. Told people, I don't know in meetings, straight-faced. Guess what happened? No gasps. No drama. One guy nodded like I was speaking his inner language. The rest? They were too busy fighting their own battles to notice mine. So, if you're still wondering how to actually do this, how I leave the house and face a world that feels so off-kilter, remember that promise from my other video? Now, let's get into the practical side of reclaiming your space. The third-person trick. UCLA psychologists call this self-distancing. Next time you're spiraling before a social event, ask, what would someone who genuinely didn't care do right now? Not you. Them. Your brain will auto-generate the behavior. It short-circuits the fear. The 2-second gaze hold. If eye contact makes your skin crawl, look through them. Focus on a spot just behind their head. Their brain still registers the attention. Your brain gets to breathe. Neuroscience suggests this subtle shift can trick your brain into feeling less threatened, as the other person still perceives engagement. Alchemizing awkwardness. From Harvard's pratfall effect. When you mess up, own it fast. Like, wow, that came out weird. Anyway, people like you more when you're human, but only if you don't spiral. The rule: acknowledge. Move on. Keep going. You're not supposed to fit. Civilization is 6,000 years old. Your brain is 200,000. You were not made for comment sections and crowded sidewalks and 2-minute icebreakers over stale pizza. Of course you retreat. Of course you build rituals inside your house. Of course you feel safer when the blinds are closed. But hiding isn't healing. Comfort becomes a cage. Eventually, the house stops being protection and starts being proof that the world doesn't want you. But that's the lie. Because the truth is, nobody fits. Not really. Everyone's faking it. Everyone's scanning, wondering, doubting. And the ones who seem fearless? They just got tired of waiting for permission. Next time you open the door and feel the panic rise, don't ask, what's wrong with me? Ask, what game is being played here? And then decide not to play. Step outside. Not to impress. Not to perform. But just to exist. As is. Mismatched socks and all. Because the world wasn't built for people like you. And that's not a curse. It's your freedom. If you need more tools to navigate a world that doesn't always make sense, do one press up and hit the subscribe button.